And how does this feed into the politics? We see his momentum in the Republican primaries, but how do these legal challenges and the business challenges now with hundreds of millions of dollars in fines facing him, how do you see that all feeding into one another?
Right. So far as he has been the Republican nominee for president, a Republican candidate for president, he has dominated the Republican primary, and his sort of mountain of legal troubles has, if anything, bolstered his standing among Republican voters. Polling has showed that with each different indictment he faces or legal peril, his support among Republican voters has grown, and he's also seen fundraising increases with each indictment. And so I think going forward, as Trump kind of looks on this to be on this glide path to securing the Republican nomination in a few weeks, it's likely, though, that the question over the health of his financials going forward will kind of be key in determining how he's able to run this campaign. Obviously, running for president is really expensive, and if and when he clinches the Republican nomination, he'll have the backing of kind of a more formal fundraising apparatus with the Republican National Convention or Committee, rather. But these legal issues, he's already had to bleed millions of dollars to support and fight these legal fees, and those fees are only expected to mount as he's running for president.
I was reading your coverage on Axios of the South Carolina primary, and Nikki Haley, despite losing in her own home state, she's not giving up, Erin.
Yeah, so Nikki Haley had reaffirmed Saturday night after she lost that she was staying in the race at least through next Tuesday, which is Super Tuesday here in the U.S., when more than a dozen states will hold contests. And so from Haley's perspective, she says there's kind of two arguments that she says why she is staying in the race at this point. One, she says that she believes Republican voters deserve a real choice. It shouldn't be this sort of given that Trump is the kind of the guaranteed nominee. And secondly, she points to former President Trump's potential vulnerabilities in a general election contest in November. She thinks that Trump is not capable of beating President Biden in November if they do both face off in a general election, as it looks pretty certain to be right now. And so she is staying in, and she also has strong fundraising numbers. So while the polling has and her results haven't been very successful so far, she has financial backing to carry her at least through Super Tuesday.
Yes, indeed. So that's the Republican side. And just finally, we have a lot of debate. I know we're on the other side of the planet, but we watch it very closely, US politics, and still think that the Democratic Party might pull a rabbit out of the hat with some change over coming months to their own candidate away from the incumbent Joe Biden. Is there any whisper around that in the United States?
So the Biden campaign is very adamant that President Biden is, running for reelection, and he has, starting entering 2024, he really ramped up his reelection efforts, and he has been campaigning. His campaign has been campaigning aggressively, spending money on ads to air nationwide, and so at this point, on the Democratic side, President Biden is, the person, the candidate, and the Democratic Party is fully backing him.
Okay, well, we'll see if that remains the case over the next few months. Erin Doherty from Axios, thanks so much. Appreciate it.